In 2019, Tony Khan, alongside the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, and Kenny Omega, changed the pro wrestling landscape by announcing the creation of All Elite Wrestling, a challenger brand meant to take on the Goliath of WWE. Since then, AEW have proven themselves to be a worthy competitor of the WWE, but have hit many speed bumps and growing pains along the way. And after the ousting of former WWE chairman Vince McMahon, the WWE has vastly improved under the leadership of Paul Triple H Levesque. With the weekly competition between AEW and the WWE, pro wrestling has never been as rapidly changing and exciting as it is right now. And the latest pro wrestling rumor to hit the internet is the idea of Shane McMahon possibly joining AEW, further fueled by a leaked photo of a meeting between Shane McMahon and Tony Khan. After a lot of online discussion, many fans are wondering if Shane McMahon joining AEW would possibly be a cool and exciting new thing, or just an over-reliance of WWE names to prop AEW up on the same level. Well, I'm Josh from Just MASH. Let's figure it out. Why is this important? Well, the idea of a McMahon competing in another pro wrestling league is unprecedented in the history of pro wrestling. Since the 70s, the McMahons have pretty much run the business of professional wrestling, with Vince McMahon Sr. and then Vince McMahon Jr. taking over and taking the wrestling business from a territorial organization to a worldwide brand. Following the ousting of Vince McMahon after his numerous sexual assault and human trafficking allegations, Triple H has taken over the company and really brought it in a new positive direction, with many active talents speaking about how much more enjoyable of a place WWE is to perform now than it has been in the past. Since then, Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon really have not been a part of WWE television. If you watch WWE programming now versus several years ago when Vince McMahon was in charge, you can see that there is really a lack of over-reliance on older wrestlers and part-timers like Vince McMahon used to do. Because of that, it seems like wrestlers like Edge, Bobby Lashley, and Shane McMahon really aren't getting the shine on WWE television that they normally would have. AEW, on the other hand, being the land of opportunity for pro wrestling and really just offering a different sort of flavor to what the WWE does, they have room for these types of talents, legends of the business who still have a couple years of good wrestling left in them, while also promoting these young wrestlers who are just getting their names made on the scene. After seeing Adam Copeland, Sting, Christian Cage, Bryan Danielson, people like that come to AEW and really have the best years of their career in ring-wise, the idea that someone like a Shane McMahon joining AEW is not out of the realm of possibility. Ultimately, this is important because a McMahon competing in a different wrestling organization than the WWE is unprecedented. Shane McMahon going to AEW and ultimately challenging the WWE, headed by his brother-in-law, Triple H, is something that could really light the wrestling world on fire and change AEW for the better, or for the worse. Why this could be bad? This could be bad for AEW for a lot of reasons. One being that Shane McMahon is just simply a lot older than he used to be. And the last time we saw him perform was at WrestleMania 39, and he pretty immediately got injured. On top of that, Shane McMahon was never known as an in-ring general. He was never known as a technician or someone who could put on a 5-star match with anyone. A lot of Shane McMahon matches are surrounded by weapons falling off of things and a lot of chaos to really make them successful. Because of that, a lot of people wonder, how would he fit in AEW? Is he somebody that's going to be having matches constantly at pay-per-views? Is he somebody that's going to be just an on-screen figure? Is he going to be an authority figure like a general manager like he used to be on SmackDown? We're not really sure. Another reason this could be bad for AEW is one of the most common criticisms of AEW is an over-reliance on ex-WWE talent. AEW was always supposed to be looked at as a competitor to WWE and an alternative. Over the years, more WWE talent have left WWE and joined AEW, and several AEW talent have jumped ship back to WWE. This is just the nature of the business and how the landscape of wrestling has changed. I personally don't quite get the criticism of an over-reliance of ex-WWE wrestlers. Pro wrestling is pretty much the only business where this is a common occurrence. If you work at McDonald's and quit and go to Burger King, no one looks at you as an ex-McDonald's guy, right? No one criticizes Burger King for hiring you. WWE is the biggest company in pro wrestling history. For a long time, they were the only place to wrestle. Of course, everybody that comes and goes and is worth of anything will have stepped foot in WWE at one point. Are they not supposed to work ever again? Are AEW just simply not supposed to hire good wrestlers because they came from the WWE? Or WWE not supposed to hire AEW wrestlers because they come from AEW? It doesn't quite make much sense to me. But Shane McMahon is a unique case. With AEW supposed to have been a competitor brand, a challenger brand, but mainly an alternative, a lot of people think that Shane McMahon is too much of the same old that people disliked about WWE, and that he doesn't quite fit in AEW. Why this could be good? Well, this could be good for AEW for a lot of reasons. One, Shane McMahon does have a lot to offer to the pro wrestling world. He's been around since the 90s in the Attitude Era and has seen and worked with a lot of the top stars in the business and watched them come and go. He's got a lot of knowledge and probably a lot to offer. Shane McMahon is also an entertaining in-ring pro wrestler. Yeah, his punches aren't the best, and a lot of his matches have left a lot to be desired, but can you imagine a Shane McMahon versus Darby Allin train wreck? I feel like that could be a match of the year contender. Also, many people have suggested the idea of Shane McMahon bankrolling the Elite and working with the Young Bucks, Okada, and Jack Perry. I personally think that's a really fun stable, and it also brings up the idea of a possible Shane McMahon-led Young Bucks feud versus Tony Khan-led Team AEW feud. Another thing that gives me a bit more faith in the way that AEW would handle Shane McMahon is look at the way they've handled Sting, Adam Copeland, Jeff Jarrett. A lot of these names that people thought might have been past their prime at one point, hell, Sting was even retired, and look at the run he had in AEW. One of the greatest runs of all time, with one of the greatest retirement matches of all time. If there's any company that gives credibility to legends and treats them with the respect they deserve, I think it's AEW. The other thing about Shane McMahon joining AEW, I've said it a few times in this video, it's unprecedented. AEW needs something like this to shake up their programming. Having someone like Shane McMahon come in, something that no one ever could have predicted, could really do a lot for that show. As of now, Shane McMahon joining AEW is just a rumor. Of course, we have photographic evidence that him and Tony Khan did in fact meet, and that in of itself is already a huge thing. But for now, it's just fun fantasy booking. If Shane McMahon were to join AEW, I would be seated every week. Granted, I already am. I'm a pro wrestling fan. I love AEW. I love WWE. I don't buy into the tribalistic nature that a lot of pro wrestling fans do. I'm ready to sit down and be excited and watch as a fan. If the prodigal son does decide to change the wrestling world and step through the doors of All Elite Wrestling and we hear, here comes the money on AEW Dynamite, I think it could be one of the greatest moments in wrestling history. I'm Josh from Just Mash. Until next time.